So good afternoon, colleagues. Just welcome to this small workshop on financial reporting. My name is Melisha Mansami. I'm one of the project accountants of the Research and Development Department. You can find me on the third floor of the Admin C building. The objective of today's workshop is just a high-level understanding of our financial policies and reporting. In the previous workshop that was presented in April by my colleague Zenkosi, you would have then had a high-level overview of budgeting, and she would have went through how to complete a full cost budget at the start of your project. So what are the reporting basics? Firstly, it's important that your contract states that there is a reporting requirement. If that is so, it is very important to familiarize yourself with the funder's guidelines. So for example, what kind of expenditure do they not allow or allow? This could be things like equipment or salaries, or even things like entertainment. They, they may also have a requirement for you to do a little bit of extra record keeping in terms of timesheets. And so you would need to make sure that you record and you can account for your time that is spent on a project. Please remember that you need to also, or you should expense against your budget lines so that you can make sure that you are reporting as per your budget. And then it's also important to familiarize yourself with the various policies. For example, the ICRR policy, the VAT policies, or the consultancy fees policies. I believe that these policies were updated and implemented at the beginning of last year. So why is financial reporting important? Well, it just helps the funders to track and analyze how funds are being spent and if it is used for its intended purpose or project. So what is important in terms of financial reporting? Well, going forward for new projects, a project will be opened under the PNG module. A new project is a project that has either a new researcher or a new funder and is a new contract. If it is an existing project or a continuation of a project, at this stage, cost centers should still be used. Funds should never be mixed. That means that you should never have more than one funder's money in a project, or that there should not be a payment or payments made to or from different cost centers. In the PNG module, it will be difficult to mix funds as spending can only occur against an approved budget. So all transactions must be included and classified as either income or expenses, and these transactions should be accounted for in the correct period. If transactions are not done correctly, this has a major effect on things like the university's calculation of income received in advance. So remember that when you are recording your transactions, transactions should be correct, complete, and accurate. Depending on the type of project you have, you can either receive funds at the start of a project from a funder and then spend, or you can spend and claim, which means that you incur your expenses before the funds are received from the funder. On the PNG module, this will be checked against an approved budget and a signed agreement. It's also very important to invoice your funder correctly at either the specified dates if it is a spend and claim, or at initial stages when you receive the funds. Invoice details must reflect things like what you are receiving and for what period you are receiving those funds. If an audit is required, the finance department must be notified by September or October. Usually, an audit requirement is stated in the contract, and this can either be a compulsory requirement or the funder may have a right to request an audit. So if an external audit is required, we need to be informed well in advance. This is important because Renette will need to inform the university's auditors, which is currently EY, so that they can include it in their schedule. Please note that this is only applicable if the funder does not specify that they are going to appoint their own auditors. Also, Stellenbosch University does not perform any internal audits. They only can assist with the external audits. So what is the contractual responsibility of the PI and Stellenbosch's credibility? The PIs are to be aware of funder requirements, that the project is running smoothly, and that the admin is done correctly so that when finance receives the information, it is correct. Most importantly, it is very important to remember that when your due dates or your deadlines of your reports, and to ensure that the reporting is done correct. Please remember that when we report, we also need to adhere to the IFRS framework and other relevant legislation. This is important because when statistics are collected, from the university by institutions like R&D or Clarivate, incorrect use of the framework or the legislation will affect our rating as a university on various platforms. So what should you do? As I said before, you need to ensure that all your transactions are recorded on the system and in the correct period. That if you have any reallocation of transactions, it should be processed before that reporting period. If you have any commitments and you want to include it in that specific report, it can only be included if a goods received note has been generated. So even if the expense has not been paid yet, it can still be included on OCF as expenditure. Please also allow finance sufficient time to review. Currently, finance needs 10 working days to produce, review, and sign off a report. But that is provided that there are no errors or problems that are incurred and that all the record keeping was done correctly. Renette, who is the Director of Finance, is also the only authorized signatory of your financial reports at this stage. Then for your benefit, I've just included some links to templates and further information on things like the financial policies, or if you're looking for the application form for a reduction in ICRR, I just put in these links so that you can obtain that information. And then at any stage of your financial reporting process, please note that you are always welcome to contact either myself or Zinkosi. We are always willing to provide guidance and assist you so that the process can become easier. You can also contact Suzette, who's a senior accountant, and I'm sure that most of you are already familiar with her. So that's the end of this presentation, but I just want to open the floor to any questions. There are any questions? So then if there's no questions, you guys are still welcome to, if you think of something after the presentation, you are welcome to email me and I will pop me an email after, and I will have a look and I will get back to you. But other than that, thank you everyone. This is then the end of the small presentation. Thank you for bearing with my croaky voice.